Audio clips are imported into Unity just like any other asset. Once in Unity, selecting an audio clip in the project window will show you its import settings in the inspector. There are several settings that can be changed on an audio clip. However, it's worth noting that usually we can leave these settings the way they are. Let's go ahead and step through the settings quickly though, so you have a fundamental understanding of what you can do to an audio clip to change how it performs. By default, all audio clips import as stereo. If you'd like it to be mono, you can just check the Force to Mono checkbox. Normalizing the audio clip will bring the left and right audio tracks into the same volume range. By default, all audio loads before the scene starts. If you'd like the scene to start without being delayed by loading a lot of audio, however, you can check the Load in Background. Do note, however, that if you do check Load in Background and the scene starts, your audio clip may not be ready to play when you tell it to. Instead, it will wait until it has been loaded to actually play in your scene. If you want to ensure all of your audio is loaded before the scene starts, just leave the Load in Background property unchecked. Furthermore, if you'd like all your audio to begin loading when you first run a project, leave the Preload Audio Data checkbox checked. However, if you'd like to not load this audio clip until you tell it to later on in your project, you can turn off the preload audio data and then turn it on later in code by calling the audiosource.loadAudioData method in some scripts. Again, we'd like this audio clip to load on startup by default, so I'm going to leave the Preload Audio Data checkbox checked. The next section has to do with our compression and quality settings. The first is our load type, which has the options decompress on load, compressed in memory, or streaming. If we have small simple sound clips, we can choose decompress on load. This removes the overhead of decompressing while the clip is being played. For larger audio files, where we don't want to decompress the whole thing because it would take up too much memory, we leave the compressed in memory checked. This has the slight overhead of decompressing on the fly, but keeps our memory footprint very small. Finally, we could choose streaming, which will load and decompress audio while it's being played. This keeps memory very low, but increases the overhead even more. We can also choose our compression format. The compression formats available to us depend greatly on the platform and the type of audio clip we're loading. Some compression settings, such as Vorbis, also gives us a quality slider, which allows us to adjust the size in memory of our audio file. You can see if I reduce the quality and hit apply, we have a reduced imported size on our file. Setting our compression format back and hitting apply undoes the change and returns our imported size back to normal. Finally, we can choose to optimize or override the sample rate. Since we don't really need to mess with that for this audio clip, I'm going to leave this as preserve sample rate, keeping it the way it is in the file. It's worth noting that we don't have to use these settings for all platforms. We can override these settings for any platforms we have installed. Say on Android, we could choose to override for Android and choose different compression settings and compression formats. If we'd like to see what the original size of the file is, and its imported size, and then finally the ratio of original size to imported size, we can look at the information window right underneath the compression settings. Down in the preview window, we can see the waveform representation of the audio clip. We have the option to play the audio clip by clicking the play button in the upper right hand corner of the preview window. If we'd like the audio clip to loop, we can click the loop button and hit play again. Finally, if we'd like audio to begin playing whenever we select an audio clip, we can choose the autoplay option right next to the looping button. Not all settings will be the same for all audio clips. Here, we can see the audio settings for something simple like the Hellephant Death WAV file. If we go over to the audio folder, the music subfolder, and look at our background music, we can see some things are slightly different. For this audio clip, we choose the Vorbis format setting, and we can adjust the quality to reduce the impact in memory a great deal. Generally speaking, long audio clips like the background music, need to be compressed a great deal, otherwise they take up a lot of memory when they're loaded in a scene. Always pay attention to the size and compression settings of your audio clips. You'll be amazed how greatly the format and compression settings can affect the size and audio quality you hear when playing an audio clip. You'll also notice that nowhere in these import settings is there a control for the pitch or the volume of the audio clip. You also can't control whether the audio clip is a 2D audio clip, meaning it plays at the same volume no matter the distance from the audio source of the audio listener, or a 3D audio clip, meaning the volume gets quieter as the audio listener gets further from the audio source. Those settings are controlled by the audio source, which we'll look at in the next section.